Yeah, so today we have a returning spectacular person from Switzerland, and she was here last 6 months ago, and we've been having a conversation, and I still want to point out how important consultations are, because it just seems like people just jump into working with hair not knowing, you know, what the background is, what's going on. So consultations are so important because you have a background of what the client has gone through. Two, it's been about 6 months since we had our last appointment, so I want to know what's been going on, what has happened to her, what has been new, if the last appointment made a difference, you know, to her hair, the treatment, because you don't want to just be doing treatments and you don't know whether it's making a difference, and if it did, what has changed between that time. So we've had a conversation, and she still said that she felt hair was lacking in moisture, hair still feels dry. I think that's what you said. Yeah, if you could just take us back to what you said, if you don't mind, just so that we can actually know what's going on. Yeah. So from the last appointment, I think we had a treatment.
Yeah.
And we did like some comb twist after. Did we do a trim as well?
We did a trim.
Yeah, we did a trim, treatment, and a comb twist. So after the appointment, what happened?
It was quite good. I felt like it was good, but then of course I started putting extensions in, and I think that even made it worse, because then it was harder for me to like do like the weekly or bi-weekly like
maintenance
of doing the conditioning. So I just basically tried to like keep up with the spraying of the
leave-in conditioner. And was that all you were using, like your leave-in conditioner?
My leave-in conditioner. Sometimes I'll put some oil in, but then I found that the oil would just stay
on top and wouldn't do much.
So I tried to limit that, but then of course it's growing. I can see that it's growing, but then it's breaking off.
It's breaking off as well. So where do we start, because that's quite frustrating, because your hair is growing and it's not holding length, and what's the whole point? We want to be able to hold length, and being in a protective low manipulation style, let's not call it protective, because sometimes it doesn't protect, it's actually just low manipulation, and that's where the thing comes in. What you can do with the hair is one thing, you know, the upkeep. So it depends on what leave-in spray you were using. What were you using in that time?
I can't even remember.
I think it's a rose water.
So I use rosemary water.
And rosemary
water. So I make it like the OT or whatever. And I just kind of spray it in my hair. Sometimes I had in some aloe vera juice as well, and put that in there. But then I tried to put in some conditioner.
Like a leave-in conditioner. What is the consistency?
It's a bit thick-ish.
But then when you have like a braid, or it's hard to get in, So now, we're having the moisture put in, but we're not having anything to keep the moisture in. So that's an issue. So we have to find a product that can help at the same time that there's moisture there, but let there be something else, maybe some amino acids, some some vitamins. There's like vitamin B3, there's panthenol that can help, so things that have those kind of things. Panthenol is very good for strengthening the hair. Something that has maybe a humectant. A humectant is something like glycerine or honey. So what's it called? Aloe vera is quite a good moisturizer, but these things, there's nothing. And then you need a bit of, I always think a bit of oil. But then what oil? Because you don't want a heavy oil. You want an oil that will not sit on top of the hair, but actually help with keeping the moisture from evaporating, but also just keeping the hair soft. So this is what we're going to work on for you going back. Maybe find and try and get you some products that would help with that. But today, what's been happening is hair is really fine strands, beautiful hair, but with this kind of hair, it can tend to just break, because one of the smallest coils, very coily. So today we're going to do a deep conditioning treatment. I'm going to be using the Stimulate for your scalp, just because you did say that you've had a bit of progress with the edges. And then with the last treatment, you got some softening, you said.
It was really good. It was nice.
So initially it was nice, but then how do you keep
it to be like that?
All the time. So we're going to do another treatment today. As I said, we're going to go for the scalp, refresh the scalp, rebalance the scalp, and then we'll do a light protein treatment for the hair itself. I'm going to be using Boost and Seal, which is our moisturizing butter, but it also has like some softening emulsifiers in there. So then get this hair really soft. After that, we will be doing a blow dry, making sure we use the heat protectant, but then we'll now trim. So we're talking about trimming. How often do you trim? So you've not trimmed in 6 months. And before that,
I don't remember if it's been well before that.
Okay.
Did I actually get it trimmed? I can't remember. I don't think so.
Okay, so no problem. So the thing about trims, because when I said every 3 months, she was like, oh, but trimming is not about cutting all the hair. Like we trim now, then in 3 months we trim it down here. No, if we get what we can out here now, the next trim would be, because she's out in Switzerland, and she's saying there's not enough, will I say, natural hair care specialists that go into taking care of the hair. And this is an issue because it's not about putting on the low manipulation hairstyles. It's about getting your hair treated and prepared before going into a low manipulation hairstyle. So it would need a deep conditioning treatment, making sure you have the right product. But I've got you. We'll get you sorted out with your products. Even something for treatments while you're there, so that even if you go to your salon, you can give them something, or you can do it at home, but at least get your hair prepared before it goes in. So so we've got a nice plan, and that's what you get from a nice consultation. You get a background, you get what you do now, and you get like something to do in the future, because it's not about coming for treatment and then the treatment is nice, then after you've done the treatment you go back to not having your hair the way it was. So that's what we're gonna do today. Lovely. Cool.